More, I just got done playing catch with my dog, and he's breathing pretty hard, so you'll probably hear that in the background. But I wanted to talk to you a little bit about hard work and efficiency. And I'm 47 years old, okay? Most of you guys I know are 16 to probably 23, young. And when you're young, you can get away with a lot. But here's the difference now. When I was growing up, I worked on a farm, okay? Did tons of manual labor. I spent 90% of my time outside. We didn't have video games. We had like Space Invaders on Atari, but you could only play that for so long, right? Did construction work, lots of physical labor, played every sport imaginable. We were never, ever inside. Had recess in school, had phys ed, did gymnastics in school as part of the school program. So I'm just saying that my childhood made me more resilient because I was allowed to be a kid, right? And play and being active was a big part of it. Depending on what country you're in, our modern life pulls us inside. It makes us less active. So therefore, you're going to be less resilient. That doesn't mean you can't improve your resilience. I'm going to give you, and as somebody who's 47, you can push hard. The human body and the human mind is capable of unbelievable, insanely crazy things. I mean, dude, just study history. Like, look at the Battle of Stalingrad, the suffering those people went through. The Bataan Death March in Japan, or the Japanese did on the Americans, like the suffering. And then there's actually people that survived that, right? So building your ability to handle high amounts of stress is something that happens over time, and it's gradual, and it should happen when you're a child, right? Through play. It's just like if you look at bears and wolves, the puppies learn how to fight and they learn how to interact, and they gain the skills to hunt through playing with each other, and that's what childhood is for. Unfortunately, we've taken that away from children today. So here's 4 habits that are really simple. They're gonna, if you do them consistently, especially at a young age, they're gonna help build resiliency, okay? And then they're also gonna help you be able to work harder in bursts, right? So hard work is great if it's efficient, but like research shows, it's pretty clear, like 90 minutes is about, focused hard work is pretty much about all you can do. And then after that, the performance starts going down. And the other thing, there are times when you're gonna have to push through and maybe skip sleep a little bit, but long-term sleep deprivation over time leads to bad results. I can tell you from somebody who is dealing with a traumatic brain injury, one of the things that it's done is my sleep quality has gone down because of my head injury, and it's greatly affected my ability to function. So the first one is walk outside 3 times a day for 10 minutes, preferably after meals. This is going to control your blood sugar, okay? Help control your blood sugar. It's going to lower your resting heart rate, especially if you're breathing through your nose. If you breathe through your mouth, that's more of a like, I'm being chased by a machete kind of strategy. So breathing through your nose slows your heart rate down and helps you relax. Think of it as a walking meditation. You're doing it more for restoration and to build a nice cardiovascular base. The morning session is the most important because the morning sun is what sets your circadian clock. And if you look at all the science, your circadian rhythm is the foundation of your health. If your circadian rhythm is jacked up, in other words, you get up out of bed, you go right to your computer screen, and then you spend all day on your phone, and then you're up on TikTok at 2 o'clock in the morning, you're gonna have problems in the long run. You might be able to get away with that for a while, but you're not gonna feel as good, you're not gonna be as productive, you're not gonna be as sharp. So 3 times a day, 10-minute walk after meals. The next thing is a fistful of protein at every meal. Chicken, fish, steak, eggs. These are all the superior proteins. Animal products, contrary to the movement right now about vegetarianism, animal products are superior, period. I don't care what people feel or their emotions or how they feel about it. Animal products are efficient, and if raised on a pasture-raised farm, are actually much better for the environment than industrial farming. So there's an agenda being pushed, obviously. I'm sure you figured that out already, but don't buy into that. Get lamb, meats, fish. So the protein that you eat every meal not only going to give you the resources to build muscle mass, the other thing it's going to do is give you the resources to create the chemicals and the things that you need in your morning sun so you can sleep at night, okay? That's a biggie. Now, the third thing is drink high quality water, okay? Like spring water, San Pellegrino, Mountain Valley spring water. Tap water just has so much crap in it. Birth control, all sorts of garbage. It's got fluoride in it in the United States, which actually messes with your brain. It's not very good for your health. That's another thing that they've kind of put into the system to water us down. And being hydrated, and then the spring water has the natural, all the different electrolytes and different minerals and things that you need baked right into it. So that's super important. It's going to help regulate your appetite. It's going to give you more energy. You're going to feel better. And then the last one is get the lights off at night. So there's some ways to like turn your screen red if you have to do work at night on the phone or on the computer. You can get red light bulbs, and that's what I do. If you see some of the videos I've shot, I've got an actual therapy red light, which I use. I'll stand in front of sometimes in the morning, and I can answer more questions about that if you have questions. But just some red light bulbs, just so you don't have bright light at night. You want to get away from the phones, away from the screens. If you have to do work on the screen, there's a program called Flux that will make the screen more red, and you can also buy blue blocking glasses. But the getting outside 3 times a day, the sun basically tells your body what time of day it is, and also helps with hormone production and regulates all of that. So the sun is basically like this Wi-Fi router that tells your brain what needs to be happening. So if these 4 habits are not that hard. I mean, anybody can walk outside 3 times a day for 10 minutes, right? I just set a 5-minute timer on my phone and I walk at a nice easy pace. And then when it goes off, I turn around and come back. Simple. At the very least, go outside 3 times a day. If you can't walk, then go outside 3 times a day. And protein at every meal, that should be a no-brainer. Like, you should be doing that no matter what you're doing. And you should need to drink better water. You do the best you can. If you can't afford spring water, get one of those filter jugs. That's better than nothing. And then getting the lights off at night so you can sleep. A lot of people will say, sleep when you're dead. And there are times when you need to push through. You might not be able to sleep as much. But the more you sleep and the better you sleep, the more productive you're going to be during the day and the harder work you're going to have to do. Just think about me and my situation. I was getting 8 to 10 hours of sleep before my accident. I was training multiple times a day at different intensities. I was training a little bit more. Some days are easy, some days are moderate, some days are hard. Most of the training sessions should be moderate and easy, and throw a hard in there from time to time. Walking a ton every day, eating really well, in a good place, and I got hit by somebody doing 80 miles an hour. Now, if I'd have been sleep deprived, exhausted, and run down, and had gotten in that accident, what do you think my health outcome would have been? I might not be here, right? So you want to build capacity to handle stress by exposing yourself to low and moderate forms of stress, and then throwing a little bit of high intensity in there every once in a while to challenge yourself. But you want to make sure that your store is stocked and that your tank is full. It's like a bathtub, right? So the bigger your bathtub, the more stress you can handle. So the better, to a certain point. Like, obviously there comes a point where strength becomes a liability. Endurance training, if you take it to the extreme, it can actually, take away certain characteristics. Your health starts suffering. All these things have returns, right? But, doing moderate work every day, getting outside, walking, lifting some weights, eating good food, these all make your bathtub get bigger so you can handle more stress. Life pours water into your bathtub. Basically, your family, work, whatever you've got going on, hard workouts, those would fill the bathtub up. What empties the bathtub is walking outside, meditation, sleep, easy training, restorative yoga, Tai Chi, shadow boxing, things that are restorative, that are going to help you put energy back into the system. Okay, that empties the bathtub. So if your bathtub is constantly at the top because you're pushing really hard all the time, you're not sleeping much, you're not taking care of yourself, you have a major stressor come in, and all of a sudden the bathtub overflows, and that could be back pain or autoimmune disease, or maybe you get sick, or you just get depressed, or whatever it is. If your bathtub is a quarter to a half full and you manage to keep it emptier, and all of a sudden you get in a massive car wreck, you have the capacity to absorb that stress, okay? And so that's the key. So you know, if you're getting, like, say you're getting ready for buds, right? You want to do tons and like Navy SEAL training. You want to do tons and tons of volume at a low and moderate level. Throw some intensity in there every once in a while for mental toughness. Build the capacity first, but you don't want to go into buds so beat up that you can't, once you go to buds and you don't have the resources to draw on. You're already so tired and exhausted and beat up from what you've been doing to yourself that you get buds gets thrown at you and you wash out. That happens to a lot of people, okay? So just understand resiliency is built over time. And then if you get in a situation where it's life or death, that's where the like, oh my God, I'm gonna push through this no matter what, how hard bad it hurts. And that'll come naturally. Like when you get in a situation where your life's in danger, if you're truly a male, you will go into fight mode, and trust me, I've been there. Nothing will hurt. You won't feel any pain at all. And there are people, certain people, combat athletes, high-level athletes, once they go in that place, and anyone that's a real athlete and a real ass kicker knows what you'll see it in their eyes. They'll switch, there'll be this other person comes out, and he just takes over, and you literally don't feel your body. You literally don't feel pain. You don't feel it. You just do. All your training takes over and you go into that zone. Well, that zone is reserved for emergency situations. You don't need to be going into that zone all the time, because that zone where you don't feel pain and you can push through anything has massive ramifications as a cost. So that sort of response, basically in a nutshell, from an evolutionary standpoint, we're designed to like gather things, build things, move at a low level activity all the time, all day, and work in bursts. Do a lot of work in the morning, chill in the afternoon, do a little more work in the evening. Go out and kill shit, you know, with our big brains, right? Because we don't like overpower animals. We use our brain. We use tools. We run buffalo off cliffs, and then run from a predator every once in a while. But you don't need to be running from a predator every day. And that's what modern life is. You know, people are honking at you in traffic or cutting you off and you get upset. We've got this constant chronic stress that we haven't had in our history. So if you just do a little bit of work on doing some simple things, especially as a young guy, in the long run, you'll be able to handle more with less effort than if you just come out of the gate like busting ass and swinging and taking names. That works for a little while, but over the long haul, it's not a good long-term strategy, because you're just going to end up beat up, banged up, and injured. So remember, the harder you push, the harder you must rest. And the better job you do at resting, the harder you can go when you need to. There's a few thoughts for you.